Hello and welcome to the Success Showcase. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin from the Modern Observer Group. And with me as always is Chip Januszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing this week?
Doing great today, Eric. Can't believe it's January 31st. I'm looking out my back window at not 5 feet of snow like they were predicting, but a few inches. And it's just a beautiful January day, but I'm looking forward to a February thaw.
Yeah, as we're recording this in the Northeast, we just got hit with a nor'easter. Fortunately, most of us got a little less than what was being predicted. And we're looking forward to temperatures in the 50s later this week. So welcome to New England. So we've got some special guests with us today. Eric Verikas from Dusty Dude Woodworks. And welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So woodworking is not something a lot of people think of about going into business. So how did you guys get into this and how did you decide to make it a business?
So Eric and I met, we're a Match.com couple actually. But when we met in 2017, we realized that we have two very different days. So I have about 10 years of marketing experience. And at the time, Eric was an architectural woodworker. And we would come home, and we'd be talking over dinner. And I'd be like, well, how was your day? He'd be like, oh, I built these beautiful screen porches and these arches and corbels. And he's like, how about your day? And I was like, well, I pulled this really great demographic report and these graphics look really amazing. And, we're going to do this A/B test. And we quickly realized that our days were just so different. And we wanted something that we could talk to each other about, that we could really just align on at the end of the day and work on together. And we go to the dog park a lot. We were going to breweries. And every time we would be going, we'd be walking or sitting and having a beer. And we were like, well, what can we do? And I learned very quickly that he was making cornhole sets already. He was looking to pay down some debt on the side. And I saw them and I was like, wow, I think I can brand this. And we just kind of launched from there. We came up with the name for the business and we launched in one of our friends' basements, essentially. Yeah. And it just spread like wildfire.
Yeah, tell us about the story about how Dusty Dude came about, because that's very entertaining.
Oh, Dusty Dude. So the Dusty Dude is our oldest dog, Oreo. And he is he's not that big. He's medium sized, but he's very fluffy. And when we first started, he would hang out in the shop with us and all that. And then you go upstairs and he'd just be covered in dust. And we used to call him the Dude anyway. Mm-hmm. So we kind of just merged it all together. We knew we wanted to name it after him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very catchy.
And that's fantastic because you literally decided you wanted more work-life integration, took disparate skills, put them together, and so far you've been very successful.
Yeah, I like to think so. It has been a wild ride.
Yeah.
It is really unexpected. We didn't anticipate that I would be in the business at this point. And we just grew so quickly in the last 12 months that he looked at me one day and he's like, well, it's either you or we need to hire someone else. And I very selfishly was like, well, I guess I'm coming in.
Well, thankfully, you passed the job interview.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
So, I've been in your operations to see you. And I know, you started as a woodworking shop and making the cornhole sets and so on and so forth. And now you've opened up a store a little bit because you do other items too. And then when we just talked recently, you have like a little classroom or a meeting space that's going there too. And it's amazing. So tell us about how you've morphed into all that, because you've done a lot in a short period of time.
Yeah, we definitely started, we've been e-commerce since 2017. And when we grew out of our last shop, so I think we've had 3 shops prior to this shop that we're in now. Again, we started a small bench in our friend's basement. Then we went to my in-laws' basement and quickly grew out of that. And then we bought our house with a detached garage where we were like, this is it. We're like, for sure, never going to need something bigger. And we got all the electrical done in it. We invested a lot of money in that. And I think within like 2 or 3 months, it was time to move already. So it's really been a really fast evolution. But being here, the city of Bristol has been so supportive of us. I mean, every endeavor, whether it's looking at spaces, talking about a retail brick and mortar, now we're talking about potential classroom space here. Every step of the way, they've been really supportive. And so have all of our small business friends. And of course, our family and friends have been really wonderful. But in terms of evolution, I mean, it's really just been a dream of mine to have a brick and mortar space. I've worked in retail for a really long time when I was growing up and then into college, and I love working with people. That's why I do the marketing and the sales, and all the networking. But just to have a space for people to come in and actually touch and feel our product, we feel is a game changer. You can have the best pictures and the best video or videos that make you laugh and people want to work with you, but actually having the opportunity for someone to come in, see our wood shop, because our retail space is within our wood shop, and talk with us and talk about potential custom work or buy a cornhole set or a charcuterie board. I mean, that's just so amazing. We've had a lot of requests for it, and so now we are finally in the process of getting it going.
That's
Now,
wonderful.
you've mentioned this a couple of times already. You started with cornhole sets. Now, seeing that we have a national audience and there are actually large parts of the country that have never heard of cornhole sets, can you describe what these are?
Cornhole set. So cornhole is also known as like bean toss, beanbag toss, backyard game where you're tossing the bean bags into these wooden cornhole sets. There's a hole in the center, and that's the goal. Try to toss it into the hole or get it to stay on the board. It's basically like a new version of horseshoes. Well, new. It's not that new. Newish.
I played beanbag growing up in the 60s. So yeah, it's been around for a long time.
All right, so it's become more popular as of recently. Then.
And I mean, you have a really unique way of getting the word out too. I mean, obviously, Eric and I have both done a lot of networking, and we've had people who do craftsman, woodworking, and so on and so forth. They'll join a networking group, but because their schedule is so intense, they make a couple meetings and they can't go anymore. And you folks made a decision. I mean, we met Kara through a networking meeting, which was wonderful. And so she's out there, the face of that. Obviously, she's your backup for doing all the working too. But you also use the media and all the different things that you can get to help you too. I mean, I saw you did a video with the town of Bristol that was all over. You were on WFSB TV on a business show a couple of weeks ago. So the word is really out with you. And I think that's obviously a big part of your success. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thanks. That can all be attributed to her need to network.
So you said you started out with e-commerce, and a lot of the networking events you started going to were virtual.
Yes.
How does that translate to getting people to come into a retail store and coming into your wood shop?
So I think for us, it's been a lot of clients that we've already worked with, or people who have seen work that we've done, and they're like, oh, you know, they'll message us on Instagram or Facebook, or they'll shoot us an email, and they're like, well, can I come and see your showroom? And we wholeheartedly, it's very sad, we have to say, we don't really have one, but you're more than welcome to come see us in our shop. You can see what we do. So that really was kind of the start. We've recently had a lot of people that want to come in. They want to touch the wood. They want to feel it. They want to see samples. They want to be able to bring their samples home. So I think that's really word of mouth for us, whether it be through clients, networking, or just social media has really been pivotal.
Well, you do have a very nice website to back things up with a lot of really good pictures, so that people can just go on there and see the quality of your cornhole sets, as opposed to go getting a $20 set from Walmart or something like that. And then the custom woodworking that you do. I mean, that's something that you haven't talked about yet, but that's a big part of your business, and that's obviously one of Eric's specialties, because the pictures that I saw in there are gorgeous. So talk a little bit about that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, definitely the custom woodworking has superseded like cornhole and inventory orders and things like that. Actually, we're so booked up with custom woodworking that we don't have time to make any inventory. So, which is good. It's a good place to be. But yeah, I like to make different things. Excuse me. the repetitive process kind of gets old pretty quick.
Mhm.
So with every job that we do, it's all custom. It's like you're relearning everything with each job. It's all the same skill set, but everything is done slightly different. So it's new every day, which is really, it's nice because it's not like just do the same thing over and over and over again. And we're trying to push that. One, it's a lot more fun to do. It's good for our business. And we're trying to get people those items and things that they've been looking at in their house. And they're like, I've been wanting to change this for the last 5 years, but I don't know where to go. So we want to be those people where they go.
So what kind of custom work do you do?
It really, there's not much limitation to it. There's desks, there's bookcases, built-in mudroom storage, barn doors, regular doors. I'm on the spot here.
I know. Coffee cocktail stations have been really
Yeah.
popular for us this year. So a lot of people are looking for fun or funky ways to display and kind of hide things at the same time for their coffee and cocktails. We do a lot of mantles also. So we've done some angled mantles, which are really cool. And a lot of work with shiplap. So a lot of our clients love that farmhouse style. And so we have done entryways, laundry spaces dedicated with shiplap and really fun storage ideas. Custom pantries, closet designs. So it really runs the gamut. I think the only thing that we can't do at this very moment, but will in the future, or anything that requires something to be turned. So that's something we won't say no to a client. We'll definitely, utilize somebody else within our network who could provide something like that. We just don't have a lathe in our shop, which is the only reason why we can't do that ourselves.
But you're working on getting that.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we just got our big industrial planer.
Yeah.
So we're upgrading all of our machinery one at a time.
We've got a very long list of ones.
Yeah.
So this has all happened, as you said, very quickly. Where do you see the business going from here?
Definitely scaled out, more than just the two of us.
Yeah.
That would be nice. We want to get into a larger location. We want to have not like a huge lumberyard, but a smaller specialty lumberyard that we can access ourselves and also sell out to customers. Have a nice big showroom and home center in there. Really, and just spread it out, because right now we have our bubble in Bristol, and we're slowly expanding. So we want to try to get our reach out as far as we can. And to do that, we'll need some help, and we'll need a little bit more space.
Yeah, it's amazing you're doing all you do right now, just the two of you. But obviously, I mean, with the plan that you have and the different resources that you have, I mean, if you could clone yourself a few times over, you'd be all set. But getting more,
great.
getting more people involved with this, and again, putting together the community area and so on and so forth. I would imagine that you'd probably be open to maybe training people that maybe have the skill set and get them fine tuned so that they can help you out and that kind of thing. Just off the top of my head as a consultant here. Obviously, you have the opportunity to do a whole lot of different things, and you are definitely getting the outreach as far as the word about Dusty Dude is out there. So it's wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
You mentioned the idea of having a small lumber yard. Are there specific types of wood that you enjoy working with more than others?
There's a lot of exotic woods that we don't get to do a lot of bigger projects with because they are so expensive, but we do them on a smaller scale with like cutting boards and charcuterie boards and things like that. And, like for example, there's like canary wood and Cadillacs, and walnut is not exotic, but it's almost looks it. It's just all those woods that have like these really deep grains to them, super like different color palettes. And they're hard as a rock too, so they're gonna last forever.
And they really add that wow factor. So a lot of the pieces you'll see out in like a TJ Maxx or a Home Goods are all very neutral tones or like farmhouse look. A lot of our pieces do have that pop of color. So whether it's a contrasting dark walnut with maple and maybe a stripe or two of red heart, for Valentine's Day. Those are the types of things that we really like to think through that make our product stand out compared to something that you would find at one of those bigger box stores.
Nice. What's the most unusual request you've gotten?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Right? I think the last closet.
What last closet?
That last closet. So we did a built-in closet organization system for a client of ours who's now ordered another piece with us since. And they have an older style house. So the room that this was in was upstairs with a slanted roof in the space that we were working in. And they wanted to eliminate a piece of furniture in their bedroom. And we're like, yeah, that's got our name all over it. Absolutely, we're going to figure this out. And after a couple months of R&D and some really heavy duty hardware, we found a way to do it. I say we, my husband found a way to do it, and I was able to help in the design. But he was able to build something that was, you would see like a regular long piece of furniture, like a bureau. But when you pull out, there were two drawers. And when you pull out one drawer, the drawers that were set within it went sideways over one another. And that's how we were able to utilize the most space in the actual closet itself. We had a countertop that was on top of it as well. But I think that was probably the most interesting.
It was definitely complex with the hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you needed to be able to access everything that was like 4 or 5 feet to the right and to the left without moving, because there wasn't any room to move in there. Yeah.
So yeah, the design, the build out, and the install, I think those for me have definitely been the most memorable to date.
Wow, talk about the math and all that stuff that had to be done to put that together.
Yeah. It was almost like trying to put a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's our specialty. Like, people come to us with that problem. They say square peg, round hole, and we almost always have come up with a solution for them in some way, shape, or form, whether it gives them more storage or it gives them, the aesthetic that they're looking for. We've kind of become those people. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So Eric, how did you get involved with woodworking in the first place?
I always liked building things. It wasn't at the time, it wasn't specifically woodworking. It was just building things. I worked in hospitality, in the golf industry and the restaurant industry for up until my late 20s. And I needed a change. I was ready for a change. And I was living in Florida at the time. And I was just so done with working in this restaurant that I was working in that I just was like, I need to change. I need to get out of this. I need to be doing something a little more gratifying. So woodworking just kind of came in my head. I don't know why. I used to build stuff when I was a kid all the time. But I got it in my mind that that's what I wanted to do. And like I said, I was living in Florida at the time. I moved back up here. I was registered to go to a woodworking school. And like 2 months before that, I happened to land a job as an apprentice at a local company. And I spent about 4 or 5 years there. And they taught me a lot of what I know. And at that point, it was time when we wanted to go off on our own.
That's wonderful. And you've taught Kara everything you know?
Oh man.
I've taught her some of what I know.
I can tell you, I can make 400 cutting boards almost on my own.
There's true.
Like 2 steps or 3 steps that I do need his help with the bandsaw and a couple other things. But other than that,
yeah.
I came into this knowing nothing.
She does good.
Pretty good.
Well,
400 cutting boards, I'd be going to Amazon.
The business would not be alive if it wasn't for her.
And vice versa.
Well, I think the most important lesson people need to learn about woodworking is keep your hand away from the blade.
Always.
Yeah, you kind of need your fingers a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had said you originally wanted to do this so that you had something in common to talk about. How has that worked out for you? I mean, a lot of couples go into business and they go, all right, you know what? Now we're spending 24/7 together. We need a little me time. How have you guys coped with that?
We've taken some me time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were for a long time, we were like in here side by side 24 hours a day, all the time. And recently, you know, Kara's done a little bit more, she's trying to do more networking, more expansion for the business and everything like that. So where it stands right now, it's almost like a regular job. I'm doing my thing during the day, she's doing her thing during the day, and then we go home at night. And it's been good. So it's really, we had a couple months where it was like, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. The nights until 2, 3 in the morning, you take a little power nap on the wood shop floor, and then you just kind of rally and keep going on. But with the new year, we really made a resolution to one another. We decided we're not going to try to lose weight. We're not going to try to eat better. We've passed that. And what we want was something more for ourselves, because we work so hard and we love what we do and we love spending time together, but we also love adventure. Like, that's really important for us as a couple. And so we decided that every quarter, this is very business, every quarter that we would plan an adventure together. And whether that was a long weekend or a week's vacation, whatever that was that we felt we could do, considering what was going on with the business at the time, that we would do that for ourselves. It gave us something to work towards. And so next week, we're actually going away for 2 days to Vegas, which is our first 2022 adventure that we're going to take together. And just 2 nights, but yeah. I think it gives us both just that light at the end of the tunnel, because we work really hard. We talk a lot of business, we talk a lot of growth planning, but it gives us some time to kind of be out of the shop and just enjoy each other's company that way.
Yeah, we don't really get too many weekends, so
yeah.
we're making count when we do.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful to hear, because obviously, if you're just doing it, even though you're happy with each other all the time and so on and so forth, to put money in the bank account and so on, without enjoying yourselves. I mean, obviously, you're dealing with 2 people who talk about whatever you're doing has got to come from here. And, perspective, you got to put things in perspective. I mean, what you're doing with the business will provide you with the resources to do whatever else you want to do. And at the top of the list has got to be each other. So it's so great that you are actually putting that in your calendar, looking forward to doing that. Isn't it cool to be looking forward to even just a long weekend away?
It's amazing.
Time. And so that's it's wonderful. I mean, you folks who are watching this, husband-wife businesses and whatever, these folks are good folks to model, because they're not fake smiling here. They're wonderful people. They're doing it in life, which is great.
And it really is so important that you do put time aside for that. As entrepreneurs, people get caught up in this has to be done for the work, this has to be done for the work. But if you don't reward yourself along the way and take a little time away from the business, all that leads to is burnout.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important to avoid that.
Yeah.
That's happened a few times.
Yeah.
And
we talked to a lot of our friends who are small business owners in the communities and the different groups that we're a part of. And the burnout is real. Mm-hmm. Everybody is on that hustle and grind 24/7. And I think for me, at least, it has been so invaluable to be connected with so many different types of business owners who are doing all different things, because it gives you that perspective that, one, you're not alone. You are not the only one who is feeling that exhaustion, that stress, that burnout, that celebration. With the good, there's the bad, but then those people are there for you when you're also celebrating all the good things. Like, say, someone had the best sales month they've ever had, or they landed a client they never thought they would ever get in their whole career. I mean, those are the things that you want to be there and just like celebrate and live in those moments with somebody, because then you're also with them 3 weeks later when they're so stressed out that, maybe their business isn't going to make it, but then you powerhouse and you think through some ideas of, bringing life back into whatever's going on, and you bring that positivity back too. So it's really just one big family.
Yeah. And it's hard. I personally, I find myself falling into a lot, and I try to get better at it, to make sure that you appreciate the good things that are happening and not just all the things that still need to get done. because the things that still need to get done never go away. So
That's very true.
take a little bit of time in order to realize what it is that you've accomplished and appreciate it.
So you've actually had quite a bit of success fairly quickly. And a lot of small businesses fail to plan for what happens when everything goes well. What lessons have you guys learned from your rapid success?
Help is invaluable.
Yeah, there comes a time when but the collective you just needs to be okay with letting go of certain tasks, right? So we try to do everything we possibly can as a small business to save the money, to be more productive, but there comes a time when it's time to wave the white flag and start to delegate. And so we have started to do that with accounting. We have started to do it with photography. So we've hired a local photographer here in Bristol who's now going to do all of our images for our products as well as our installs. That's something that we just felt like it was time to level up. As we're growing, we shouldn't be taking pictures on our iPhone or our Android and uploading that into Canva and hoping that that's, on brand for us. What else? I would say we've learned a lot about marketing. Different ways that do and don't work for our small business, which is very niche. So we learned that online marketing is not great in the sense of paid marketing. For us, it's really the power of the referral and word of mouth. People love to see what we're working on in the shop at any given time. So I like to provide that to them. Somebody doesn't really like to be served an ad where they see a custom cornhole set or a home, a gift for somebody's home. They want to, again, shop our website, talk with us, get that referral from somebody. So I think that was a big lesson that we learned also, because we thought that was needed as we were scaling, and we learned within probably like 5 or 6 months that just wasn't a necessary thing for us at this point. So I think that was one of our big ones.
Yeah.
I think it's great that you're putting together, a retail store and you bring people into the shop, because what you do is really an experience. It's not just seeing the wood. The wood has a smell. It has it has the feel, and you can't get that in a picture online.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so excited to get our store open, and that'll be we're aiming for April of 2022 that we'll have our retail space open. We do have other makers in our gift shop. So that's the one thing that I like to highlight. So we are calling our space the Dusty Dude Woodworks Showroom and Gift Shop. So not only will we highlight our own pieces, but we do have 12 other makers that will be there as well. And they represent all sorts of different types of home goods and lifestyle products. And 10 of them are from Connecticut. One of them is from Chicago, and the last is from Waco, Texas. So we'll be working with all of these awesome makers and spreading the word about their business in the Bristol community also.
Nice.
No, it's just another way of networking too. I mean, it's all about the people. Obviously, internet, best price, you might get something here and there, but if you get people walking into your place to see that, they're going away talking about you. And now they know you. You all of a sudden have expanded your sales force just by getting people in the door. And obviously the people that you're partnering with to do this, it's just, it's the way to go. So
thanks. Yeah, I'm excited about it. And I feel like, I want to give back to everybody who's been helpful in our success also. And so again, to support those businesses and grow their own networks also, I think is invaluable for them. They'll share each other's content. They're really going to become like a family of makers, and we're super excited to have them all on our team and part of our family too.
Great. Well, we are just about out of time. So if our listeners want to get some more information or possibly order some custom woodworking, how can they get a hold of you?
So you guys can check out our website, www.dustydudewoodworks.com. You can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, which are both handled at Dusty Dude Woodworks.
And Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway from this episode?
I love the way you have things put in perspective. I mean, obviously you got a life, you got a business, you got everything going on. The process that we just talked about, the most important thing is the last part of the process, which we did talk about a bit, and that's celebrate. If you celebrate your accomplishments as they go on, and you keep that going. You keep that momentum going, and it's just automatic, as opposed to saying, I hope this, I hope that, and so on and so forth. And, you also talked about being overwhelmed, and, all you have is the present moment. I guess you've heard somebody say that before, but that's something that you just keep in that, and you keep that process going, and you keep celebrating your accomplishments. And look out, world, here comes Dusty Dude Woodworks.
All right. Yeah, I think the big takeaway is doing what you love, but also understanding that it is a business, and you do also need to step away and take care of yourself as well as the business. And it's great how much you've grown and all the success you've had.
Thank you. It's been awesome. It's been so cool to sit here and get to talk with you guys about it too. We appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we're glad you could make it.
Sure.
You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch every episode at xvadio.com/podcasts, as well as the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. We'll see you then.